Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Guitar Talk. I'm Mike Higgins. I will be your host today. We like to feature artists from all over New England, and we cover a pretty wide variety of musical styles. We love to talk about guitars and gear, of course, too. But I've been very fortunate with today's guest, who's been what I think is one of the real pioneers in the rock scene here in New England. He's just an incredible singer, and he's had some amazing bands with pretty long histories throughout this area. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Conti. Welcome aboard, Bob.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being on the show.
I love being here.
So all the years that I always thought of you as a Rhode Island guy, and come to find out you've been living in Mass for quite a while.
I'm from Bristol, Rhode Island, but I left there maybe 40 years ago.
I see. Is that how you met our mutual friend Joey Caron?
No, actually, Joe Caron is from Bristol.
Oh,
he is from
I
Bristol.
thought so, yeah.
And me and Joe played in a band. Of course, he was in Touch for a while.
Yep.
And we used to do the Village Tavern in Bristol every Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Guy named Val owned it, and it was a sellout every Tuesday
Village
night.
Tavern. I remember that place.
Every Tuesday night, and packed.
So you got to start pretty early with your love for music. How did you get started? And
it's a crazy story, but I'll tell you briefly. I was working on my '56 Chevy, changing the heads, and I used to have the long hair back then because the Beatles just came out and everybody grew their hair. And so a friend of mine, Rick Lorenzi, comes up to me. He goes, "We're starting a band. Do you want to be in it?" And I says, "And do what?" He says, "Play organ." I go, "Play organ? What's that?" Because I'm working on a car, right? He says, "Yeah, but you look cool, so we want to put you in the band." So he says, "I have an organ at home. Come over."
Wow.
And so anyway, to make a long story short, I joined that band, and he had bought the organ because I didn't know nothing about the instrument at the time. He was teaching me the chords and everything.
Wow.
And it just continued to get better and better for me. I ended up buying an M100 and a B3.
Oh, so you really learned how to play the keys, yeah.
Yeah, and then I started Touch after that group.
Wow. When did you realize you had a gift vocally?
When they kept telling me, "Why don't you sing?" And then they says, "Keep singing." Because I started in Touch, I was the keyboard player. I wasn't the singer.
Oh.
I had Rick Barboza from Bristol, Rhode Island was the singer.
I never knew that.
And then they wanted me to keep singing more, and Rick had left the group, so I became the front man.
Wow.
And I did both until...
So you double on some keyboard parts here and there?
Well, no, not double. I had a B3 in front. I had a Mellotron off to my left.
Oh.
Yamaha Electric Grand to my right. I had an Op Odyssey on top of the B3. I had a string machine on top of the piano, a big mirror behind me so that they could, because I was the singer and player.
Yeah, yeah. That's like a Rick Wakeman setup, man. That's a lot of gear.
We even used to do some Yes and stuff.
And you guys hauled all that gear around back then, the B3.
Crazy. Isn't it
I
crazy?
remember lugging those things.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's very crazy.
To me, though, there's something about that era, looking at a stage and seeing, you know, the
because I had the Leslies and you had the mic.
Yeah,
you had the mic top and bottom.
Yep.
The bottom would get you that real, that bottom
spinning
sound.
swirl, yeah.
And when you play the organ, the best thing about it is you really got to know how to work the Leslie. The better organ players, they know how to pull the drawbars. And get that spin with the Leslie.
Yep.
And so I'm pretty good at that.
So then eventually, at some point in Touch, you just went out front and kind of stayed there, or?
Yeah, just like after, we started with doing the Queen songs, to be honest with you. We'd come out, I'd do Tie Your Mother Down, I'd pull out the half mic stand way back then.
Yeah.
And then I'd start wearing these crazy outfits that Freddie Mercury wore.
Yeah.
People looked at me and goes, "What's up with this guy?"
Yeah, you're putting on a show.
But the more I did the front thing, I started enjoying the front thing more than being stuck behind the keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
But the first time I did go out front, I was not used to, that was my protection, all the keyboards, and all of a sudden you're up there. And
there it is, yeah.
You have to be the front man.
Yeah. Who Who was in the first real working version of Touch? Do you remember the lineup?
Yes, it was Bob Rhodes was the singer when we first started it. Billy Donahue from Bristol.
Oh yeah, I know who Billy is. Yeah.
Billy was the drummer. Joe Karen wasn't in it. The guitar player was Al Iglesias. He was from Middletown, Rhode Island. Steve Perry was the bass player. I don't even know what he's doing now. And
He's a nut. I remember Steve.
so that was the original lineup. And then Steve Bigelow became the bass player.
Biggs came in.
Bigelow came in maybe 6 months after we started.
Oh.
And because he's from Connecticut, we used to play a place called the Back Door. And I met him there. And we hired him because he's incredible.
That guy can play anything.
And then Billy left, and Joe Perfumi became the drummer. He was in the Incredible two-man band.
Yeah.
And Joe Karen came in around the same time. So it was me, Joe Perfumi, Steve Bigelow. We were four-piece. I was still playing the keys. Joe's a great singer, so we would share the singing. It just kept evolving. I've had like Touch. There might be about 25 versions.
Wow.
About that many. I employed a lot of musicians.
Yes, you did. You kept a lot of guys working throughout the years. I
Yeah.
think the first time I saw Touch, it would have probably been at JR's, somewhere around 85 or 86.
Okay.
That was the lineup I saw.
That might be the one that was on MTV, that version.
I believe it was.
That might be the one.
I believe it was. I know the guitar player had
Big-
long curly dark
Yeah,
hair.
that's Steven Sabella.
Yeah, real good
And
player.
Dave Sampaglia was the drummer. He played with Nuno
Yep.
in Extreme for a while. Before
Would Steve have been on bass in that lineup? I don't remember if
Steve Bigelow played in that
That would have
lineup
been
for
Stevie,
a while.
yeah.
And then, like I said, there's so many different guys.
Yeah, you guys were great. I remember you doing, I think it was Rainbow in the Dark, the Ronnie James Dio tune.
Yeah, he came in. I mean, when I had one version of Touch, it was the six-piece version. Joe had left and gone in F sharp. In fact, when Joe left, it was very mutual. Joe's so talented. I wanted to see him do his own thing.
Right.
It was like we were both together in the group, and we were both good at what we did. But I thought I was cheating him. And one day on the beach, we were just talking that I wanted to see him do his own thing, and he started F sharp.
Yeah.
And they're very good.
Absolutely.
Well, anyway, getting back to Ronnie James Dio coming in, that was the six-piece version of Touch. And Ronnie came in on a Sunday night, and I knew he was there, but I was already in my Dio medley.
Right.
I used to start with, let me see if I can remember, Last in Line,
Yep.
Rainbow in the Dark, Heaven and Hell. Those are the three I think I did that night.
Yeah.
So after we're done, we ended the set. He stands up, he's applauding, and I'm like, Dio.
Wow.
Felt weird because he's sitting right
Yep.
over there, and I'm like looking at him. So he comes up to me just as we finished the set, and he goes, "I'm Ronnie James Dio." I said, "I know who you are." He goes, "Can I buy you a drink?" And I says, "Sure you can." He goes, "What are you drinking?" I says, "I drink cognac." He goes, "I love you for two reasons now." He goes, "You sing like me, and you drink my drink.
All
Let's
right.
go to the bar." So we go to the bar. I always bring my wireless mic
Yep.
in my back pocket because even to this day, my son's gonna chase me up on the stage because he's gonna find me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking to somebody. So got my mic in my back pocket. I'm over there talking to Ronnie at the bar, and we talked for 20 minutes, and I was asking him, I says, "Do you want to come up and do one?" He goes, "No, I don't get up and do it with anyone, but thank you for asking." Very polite guy, right? And so my band, they like to bust them. They start Rainbow in the Dark.
Oh.
So I pull out the mic and I start singing. I'm at the bar still. But I went like this. And he sang the next line.
Wow.
So then I start walking him to the stage. He goes, "I know what you're doing." So out of respect, I backed off.
Yeah.
Because he said he didn't want to get up.
Yeah.
But he did keep singing. So it was like he wanted to, but he didn't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
that's
kind of cool.
awesome.
It was cool.
I bet.
So we get to the stage, and he's standing on the side of the stage. You know how the JR's had the corner stage
Yep.
where the stairs go up? He's standing there, the stairs facing the people and singing there. And then they couldn't believe it. And
Right.
they go, "Come on, Ronnie, get up and do one." He went up. He says, I never do this. He says, but I will. And we started last in line.
Wow.
And we melted.
Wow.
And I'm like, I can't believe. I wish I had a cell phone back then. You didn't have this.
Right. You
I wish I had footage of all this. I wish I had footage of all this. It was.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have nothing.
Yeah.
But people were there, and so at the end of that, you know, him singing, and we hung out for the rest of the night. He says, "Now I want you to come to my show," which was the next night at the Civic Center. Then now
Wow.
it's called the Dunk or something. And Megadeth was opening for him, and one other band. So he invites me to his sound check. I set up. He shows me his whole setup with the lasers, and I'm sitting there, and Dave Mustaine,
Yeah.
he comes up to me. He goes, "You guys opening for us?" Because there was 3 bands. I said, "No, I played last night across the street, and Ronnie invited me here." So Ronnie says, "Bring who you want tonight to the show."
Wow.
So after the show, it was a great show. Ronnie comes into the dressing room. He goes, "What's this?" I brought 40 people. He says, "I didn't say bring the whole club."
That's unbelievable.
But it was so cool. But
Yeah.
he met with every one of those people, talked to every one of those people. What a gentleman. Mm-hmm. Just unbelievable.
Oh, that's a fantastic story.
And then so Wendy Dio comes in at the end of the night, and she goes, "We got to get going." Ronnie goes, "Already?" She goes, "All the trailer trucks are loaded." Me and him were sitting there till
Just
maybe
talking.
2 in the morning, just like this,
Yeah.
because he's pretty deep.
Just a down-to-earth guy. And
yeah,
yeah.
big loss.
Wow. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
But that's how I met him.
That's one of the most unique
Yeah.
and powerful voices rock music
But he
has
helped
ever
me
known.
through the years as I was doing my originals. I would bring my CD, he'd give it to Wendy, and then he would be honest with me. He'd go,
Mm-hmm.
too many directions in the material. He would always coach me. He would never just tell me what I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I liked about him.
Yeah.
He was
Wow.
very, very honest and to the point, but politely.
So when did Touch? Well, you never really ended it because you guys still get back and do a reunion here.
Yeah,
and there,
we
but
did a reunion.
When did you kind of slow that down a little bit and start morphing into your other project?
Well, Touch at the end, it's people were joining then for all the wrong reasons because we were working and it was a steady paycheck.
Right.
But it lost that want to be there and work at it.
The excitement that comes.
So I decided there was a group auditioning for an AC/DC singer, Fat Angus.
Yep.
My wife she says, "I think you could sing that really good. Why don't you audition for that?" So I did. I went in Fat Angus for about 1.5 years, and then I started Dirty Deeds.
Yep.
And Dirty Deeds has been together now. Wow. 20 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
I saw you when you first joined Fat Angus.
Yeah, that was.
At that little place that used to be in Taunton on School Street. In fact, Nathan was there that night. It was Steve's Backstage Pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd only been in it a short time, and
Yeah.
Stet was in the audience that night.
It was all new to me.
Yeah,
but-
Stet
but
Howland was there. When
Yeah.
you were out in the crowd, you tossed him the mic, and he.
I think the chairs were all.
That's
so-
right.
all
That's right. And
Yeah.
Stet, I never knew Stet could sing either, and he belted out a verse, and then you grabbed the mic back.
Dave
Little
McCarron.
shout out to Stet, man, if you're watching.
Hey, Stet.
Yeah.
He's metal shirts. He's got it going on.
He's the man.
He is the man.
No doubt, no doubt. So then you formed your own lineup of Dirty Deeds, and
Yeah, Dirty Deeds, Joe Karen was in Dirty Deeds, if you can believe it.
really,
In the very beginning of Dirty Deeds, it was John Erkin was the guitar player. And then John wasn't doing Angus. Joe Karen came in to do Angus. And then we were playing at a place, Jared's, under the ground type. He had it set up that way.
was that in Attleboro?
Yeah.
I remember that little.
And
club.
then a gentleman, a young lady, Missy, asked, "Can my friend get up and jam?" And we had Randy. He came in the group because he was excellent at it.
Yeah.
He stood for 17 years.
Wow.
And then Sean Compton came in next. Sean just got hurt. Actually, he's got a torn ACL, so we got a guy filling in right now. But we always just seem to keep it going, just to keep it going. And by the way, Sean, get better.
Yes, yes, indeed. So, what do you got for upcoming shows where folks could come and see you?
This week, we're at a place called Simple Man Saloon coming up, and that's sold out, so you can't get in, people.
Did I hear you say you're going to come back to Showcase Live? And
Showcase Live, we just did our last show there about eight weeks ago.
oh,
I wanna
okay.
say.
So it'll be a while before you do another
Yeah,
one.
we do it. It's called Heartbreakers Brawl or something like that. We do it every year,
Excellent.
and it's only once a year, so we won't be doing that one until next year if they're still there at that point.
You know, the thing I find with a great tribute act, you know, is guys like yourself who grew up with the artists that you're honoring. You're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And you get it. You understand what the thing is with those
Yeah.
bands, and you surround yourself with great players, and people want that experience because these bands aren't out there anymore, so you can't go see them.
Yeah.
So, you know, a tribute like yours, which is like being there and seeing the real deal.
Well, I always
mean,
thought doing a tribute, you have to really give it respect. You
Yes.
have to, like, at least try your best at being that artist. So when people see you,
Yep.
they want to envision that, but they also don't want to be conned, and you're not putting the work into it.
Right.
The work ethic. So we've built the cannons, we've got the bell, we've got all the video production, all the marshals in the back.
Yeah.
We do we just do it so that you
That's how
feel
it
that you're at
should
the
be.
concert.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to really make people walk out going, wow, that's what it takes. The production, the work
Yeah.
into just the mannerisms and the way the band members are. And
Yeah, they always, I had to learn the Brian Johnson part of it, with the hat and
Yep.
the crouching over.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way his mannerisms, and I still work on them to this day. You just,
we were
you never
talking-
got it right. In other words, you can never say you're doing that artist totally.
Precisely.
You should always pick up something that you can always add and to tribute it better.
I mean, we were talking a little bit about it off camera, folks. Today's music economy, it's getting harder. There's not as many venues out there, and from what I'm seeing, the really great tribute acts, they're in demand, and they're getting those really great gigs.
Yeah, we
at the
got a
better
lot of good
rooms.
work. We've been blessed in a way. So,
Yeah.
but we're booked a year in advance.
Excellent.
And we do, as far as theaters, we do the Rochester Opera House. We did the Stadium Theater. We're at Laconia 2 weeks this year.
That'll be fun.
We do Bentley's in Maine. That's a great gig. So we do a lot. We do ballads. HJY always broadcasts live when we're there. We do 3 of those a year. We do the Charlestown Seafood Festival. But we've built some really big shows that
Yes,
people want to
indeed.
go to. But then we don't forget the small clubs.
Right.
Like the club where we just played a small club, and we're playing another small club this week, but then we'll end up in a big venue the following week in Danvers, Mass.
Well, you haven't forgotten the folks that put you on the map.
You never
and
want
they
you
appreciate
never want
it.
to forget that.
That's right.
It's about them.
That's right.
It's not about me.
That's exactly correct. I just want to backtrack a minute. Folks, this guy won the MTV Music Video Awards.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. This show ain't long enough, is it?
I know, we got a few minutes. We're good.
All right.
Give me the abbreviated version.
All right, the abbreviated version. Rocky had all these movies coming out, and John Cafferty did one of the soundtracks.
Yes.
So I used to talk with Bobby Catoya, that used to be in this group, the drummer.
Okay.
And I says, geez, I wouldn't mind trying to do one of those soundtracks. So I wrote a song, and I says I was going to dedicate it for Rocky V was going to come out. Well, they put Rocky V on hold at the time. So I'm in Florida, in Boca Raton, meeting with an agent of another band. And he says, why don't you let me get in contact with this gentleman, Vinny Pazienza? And He's a boxer, local. Why don't you try to take that route? And I thought it was a good idea. I sat and listened to him. I said, okay, George, let's do it. So I went to the gym. I got to sit. Vinny was fighting in the ring at his own father's and son's gym. And his father, Angelo, was a character, God rest his soul. He says, Vinny will, very Italian-wise.
Yeah.
After he's done, so I wait patiently. I got my boombox there, and I got my tape. I'm ready to show him. So me and Vinny sit on the edge of the ring after he was boxing, and I says, this is what I want to do, and this is the song. And I want to try to enter it into the Mtv Basement Tapes. So he listens to the song, and he goes, I like it. I want you to change the words here. Can you bring the tempo up? Because of the boxing thing,
Yeah.
So I says, okay. He said, then come back to me. I had that done in a week.
Ooh,
I went back the next week. He says, I like what you're doing here. You're into it.
Yeah.
I changed the words. I brought the tempo up. We shake hands. He goes, let's do it. So I got a producer, was going to RISD we took RISD Auditorium, but this gentleman was going to RISD, and he was studying in what you got in this studio,
Right.
all the
production.
Yeah. So his name was Dennis Sandman. And so we ended up taking RISD Auditorium, and we built the stage. They had all the cameras on the dollies and everything. What a setup, because they got all that stuff there. And I invited like 300 people in the audience, and we shot the video there. And then we shot some of it at JR's, getting out of limos, the whole way. And anyway, after the video was done, we entered it into the MTV Basement Tapes, and we took 44% of the nation.
Wow.
And won.
That's outstanding.
And we went against three LA bands at the time. They were giving out record deals. And mine was the first month that they gave you a Budweiser guitar
Instead of a record deal.
So I went, hey, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
I had different words, but I won't say what.
Man.
You just got to roll with it.
That's right.
You just got to roll with it.
And it brought tremendous exposure.
Yeah,
to
that's the
band.
most important thing.
It really
let
did.
people know
you
you
guys
serious.
were on fire. At
Then
that
I started
point.
even headlining at the living room, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that, because they seen that I was making that transition
Yes.
originally. And then I remember one show I opened for Danger there. And I've got my Porsche outside, the truck, 3-man crew. So the singer from Danger goes, what label you on? And I said, Campbell Soup. He said, no, seriously,
That's
what label?
hilarious.
And I says, no, I'm not signed. I play covers so I can do this. And he almost didn't understand it. And
Right.
so he was listening to me. He goes, so wait a minute. Like, what songs do you do? I said, I do a few songs by you. Let's Get Naughty. I do your song. And when do you do that? I says, after I leave here and do this original show, I go to JR's. But I said, I do all the covers from all
So
the
here's
bands.
the original touring guy, and you're the guy with the Porsche outside
so
doing
he goes
his
like this.
tune.
So he goes, you're not selling drugs or nothing. I said, no, I play music. That's how I
Right.
make a living, right? So he goes, well,
The irony in that is just
here's
beyond
what's
belief.
crazy about this business. Nice guy, he says, well, I got to be doing something wrong because I'm living in my mother's basement and I've got an album out. And you're just playing our songs and other band songs.
And you,
And you seem to be
Porsche
doing
outside.
good. I says, well, I'm doing both. I says, it's not that easy.
Right.
I
You
said,
got to be driven. I mean, you worked pretty much every night.
but then on the downside of that, what I really believe is I think I should have just went original and not done covers. You confuse the audience and they don't take you serious.
Right.
Because you're doing other people's material. So I think that was my only mistake. I should have went all original and said, nope, this is what I do. Take it or leave it. Take that chance.
And it is a leap of
I'm
faith.
bringing up kids too, so
That's
I'm
right.
making a living. So it's best to stay single if you really try to make it, I guess.
You know, at the end of the day, I mean, you've had a great life. You still got a great career with this project that everybody loves.
Yeah.
And you know, there's probably been at least 1 million original acts, not to take anything away from a strong original act,
Yeah.
that came and went because they couldn't get past the end of their street with any notoriety or any
Yeah.
decent paying gigs.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a tough business all the way around.
It is. It is. You know, I've said to my friends over the years all around New England that, you know, I don't care if you're playing bar mitzvahs,
Yeah.
weddings, high school dances. If you're playing music and you give it your heart and soul and put everything you got into it, worry about the other stuff later. First,
Yeah.
be the best you can. And if you made a great living and raised a family, you got your health, man, you've already got
Yeah.
more than everybody.
Well, the most important thing that I've always looked at since I started was the fans are the most important thing to me.
Yes.
I mean, I literally, at my shows now, I take pictures of the people every night while I'm on stage. I mean, I know from a visual aspect, it might not look as professional to some other band that's, quote, professional.
The fans sure love
But
it.
I take those pictures home at night, I edit them, and I try to make everyone look good in the pictures. I crop them, and I post them the next day. And 99% of those pictures, if you look on our site or anything, is always the people. It's not of the band members.
Right.
You get very few shots of us. But it turned into a thing where the people say, wow, he takes pride in us.
That's right. That's right.
But I really do. And I freeze that moment in time of everyone having a good time because you don't get them back.
That's right.
So that's something I've always done.
Well, the
And I got
fans
some good
appreciate it.
photographers too that
Yeah.
take pictures, but I also want to take a picture myself to let them know how important they are, the people.
Absolutely. And I think that approach is what has kept
Yeah.
you so busy and vibrant.
Again,
in-
I
in
know
the
that it would
business.
look better if I got the photographer doing it, but I just want to be real and do
Yep.
it myself.
Well, we'd like to thank you for being on the show today. I
Yeah.
know we could go for hours with everything.
Yeah, we'd have to do a documentary.
That's right. And that's not the worst idea. And I think someone should get Bob Conti into the Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame. Hint, hint.
Oh, speaking about that, I'm going to the ceremony. Young Neil's being
Yeah.
inducted on
That's going to be
28th
awesome.
of April,
Yep,
I
he
think.
certainly deserves it.
because we were at the Met last week. We won an award at the Motif Awards.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. 6 years in a row now.
That's fantastic.
But I was talking to Steve Bigelow there and Neil, and they wanted me to show up, and I said I wouldn't miss it for the world. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go there and get to see them get inducted.
Yep, that's wonderful.
I'm in the Hall of Shame right now.
We've all stood there.
No, but that's so cool that
It is.
being inducted. And
Yes, it is. It is. Well, folks, thanks for being with us today. Thanks to the great Bob Conti. My friend, I wish you all the success.
thank you.
Thanks for viewing Guitar Talk. God bless you all. We'll see you soon.
Yep.